Good morning, Utah Golf Radio. We are coming to you live today from the beautiful downtown studios of ESPN 700. We are at the mothership, getting you inside the ropes on all things golf in Utah, in partnership with Utah's leading golf organizations, the Utah Golf Association, the Utah Section PGA, Fairways Media, the Utah Golf Foundation, the Utah Junior Golf Association, and First Tee Utah. I am Paul Pugmire, your host and the president of First Tee Utah. We're here with our co-host, Jan Brownstein. Jan, good morning.
Good morning, Paul. It's Saturday.
It is.
You know what's funny is that actually happened to me. I woke up this morning and I was a little confused, and I for some reason I thought I had to get up to go to work, and then a couple minutes later I realized where I was going, and then I realized I had to pack, and it was a little bit hectic this morning. But it was a very strange morning.
Well,
but I'm happier now because we're here together.
We are so glad to be together.
And
we want to welcome our good friend and the 6-time Player of the Year for the Utah Section PGA. That would be Haley Sturgeon.
Good morning.
Haley.
Good morning. How are you today?
Haley,
I'm still waking up too.
I know we're all having it feels like
don't want to interrupt you there, Haley. Are you dozing off? And
we are so excited
started?
you're here, though.
Yes.
We love when we get some Haley.
I'm
Love
happy to
getting
be
some
here.
Haley. Absolutely. How you been, Haley?
Been well. Just getting through kind of the off season.
Yeah.
And just watching Jack grow up, which is so much fun because he changes
Yeah.
so much every week, and there's a new thing. And but
What's the new thing this week?
A lot of pointing.
Pointing.
So
okay.
a lot of communication of I want to go here. I want this. And he's getting his bye-byes better. So on command of hey, I'm going bye-bye. And then immediately he'll wave back with a big smile on his face. And so it's just a lot of fun just to watch him grow up.
Nice. Really nice.
Yeah.
Couple weeks ago, we were together in St. George for the Winter Classic. We've talked with Tommy Sharp about all that, and we had him on the show here recently. Was that last week, Jan?
Yes.
Yes, last week.
Just last week.
Okay. And but Haley, I wanted to get your take on that, especially get your take on the awards dinner. You had a big role in that. It was a new format.
Yeah.
You've experienced both ways because you get a lot of awards. You Player of the Year 6 times. I'm interested in your take on all that.
I liked it. It just kind of broke it up a little bit. I think it kind of got everybody out of their shell a little bit more instead of stressing about making this big speech and what they want to say, what they could have said. And I don't know. I think it just gave it a more relaxed environment for the pros and then the people watching. I don't know. I was a really big fan of the new format.
Wesley Ruff did a magnificent job.
Incredible job.
Which shocked me, right? It's not like this guy hasn't seen an interview before.
Right.
But nonetheless, even for Wesley,
it
was excellent and different and something notable even for Wesley.
Yeah.
And what was very clear to me is how prepared he was. Which,
very
again,
prepared.
What a shock! The guy's a pro. Blah blah blah. Yeah, I mean this surprises no one, but nonetheless, it was still eye-catching. It was noteworthy.
Yes, 100%.
So able to talk about each of the pros, each of the awards, backstories, and all that. It was superb.
And the venue too.
Venue is cool.
Black Desert, it's so cool to watch it. Every time I go to St. George, something new there. Get to experience something else down there, and it's absolutely incredible what they're doing down there.
It is.
So thank you, Black Desert, for hosting us.
Golf claps for Black Desert. Listen.
That was awesome.
Okay. Look, the reality is we need to scream and shout for Black Desert, but that's kind of not our gig. I do want to note that we are, of course, powered as always by T-Box, and love me some T-Box as we note frequently on the show here. These guys have cracked the code on the whole golfer experience. The simulators, the fitness, nutrition, everything. Got it all together at T-Box. Check them out at my favorite URL on the interwebs, tbx.golf. T-Box, tbx.golf. Check them out there. Jan, you've been up there recently.
I
The one
have.
in Centerville, right?
Yep, I go to the one in Centerville until the one in Riverton opens
Right.
in just a couple months.
Yeah.
So, and then West Valley is going to open here pretty soon as well. So there'll be a few more opening in the next 6 months. So
Nice.
it's going to be really great for them.
Nice. And this first hour of the show is presented by Salt Lake City Golf. Check them out at saltlakecitygolf.com, saltlakecitygolf.com, or the Salt Lake City Golf app. We are inching up on when the season passes will be made available. And
I'm smiling.
Are you still practicing your tee
I'm
times?
I'm still practicing making tee times at Bonneville.
Okay.
But
okay.
next week is going to be pretty nice. I have a feeling they might, there might be some walking only.
Yeah, keep your eyes on that,
Because
folks.
it's going to be
That's what-
57 on Wednesday.
Saw that, and that's where it will be announced. So is on the app and on
Yes.
saltlakecitygolf.com. Haley, I want to go back to what's going on with you recently here. Before we move on, I need to know. Be sure if you're interested in watching us on a live stream and seeing my made for radio face. There it is. Check us out.
Speak for yourself, Paul.
I said my.
Okay.
Check out our live stream on the Utah Golf YouTube channel. So youtube.com/Utah Golf Radio, and you can follow the live stream there. Haley, for the Winter Classic, one of the things I really like about this tournament is that it's got so many different divisions. There's a reason that there's lots of reasons. One of the reasons why the entire section gathers for the Winter Classic, why it's such a convention, such a reunion,
Yes.
everybody's there,
Yes.
is because there's a division in the Winter Classic competition for everybody.
100%.
Yeah,
Yes.
right. And so you, of course, did well again this year, but it got snowed out.
We got snowed out. I mean,
Snowed
it's so
out.
crazy. The week prior, it was 70s and beautiful. And I'm sure all of us were looking at the weather like, are you kidding me? We're going down to St. George to freeze our butts off.
It is
after
called the
freezing our
Winter
butts off.
Classic.
It's the winter.
I know, that's what I'm like,
Classic.
I
So
think we
isn't
need to
this
change it.
classic?
Yeah.
I mean, this is classic. Beautiful one week, crappy the next week, and then beautiful the week
Oh.
after you leave.
I mean, it was crazy. We were talking about my first year down there. I was in a skirt and it was beautiful. And then it seemed like every year after that, it was pants, heated vests, under layers, hats, hand warmers, cart covers.
The cart covers. Okay,
Okay,
I
Paul
get
can't
all
do
that.
Paul can't do
The,
cart
the
covers.
cart covers to me.
I used to
are
be that
just-
person.
They're just. It's like I'm just admitting defeat. I'm just.
See, I don't
I'm
see it
just
that
saying.
way.
I see it as prepared.
I see it more like, oh yeah, golf course, you're not going to get me out of here.
Okay.
Weather, you're not getting me out of here. This golf cart is going to make me play the greatest game of my life.
I think a biggest part too is like the golf courses that you're playing. So we were playing Coral Canyon and Sand Hollow, which are notorious for
good.
wind.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great
okay,
golf
yeah.
courses, but notorious for wind. And when it's that cold and you have the wind chill on top of it, just having a cart cover blocks some of that, and it makes all the difference.
Yeah. Okay. That's
And
good.
then a little reprieve from if it is
Yes.
coming down. You just have you have a minute or two in the cart from one hole to the next to kind of gather yourself and dry off a little. So there is a purpose for the cart cover.
I think we know what
Okay.
we're getting Paul for Christmas.
Yeah.
No.
And then he'll feel guilty and you have to use it.
Okay. Okay. Coral Canyon is back in the tournament biz this week with the Coral Canyon Senior Am, which is being played concurrently with the Legizam. So a couple of PPR events happening right now down in the St. George area, Coral Canyon and Hurricane. Shane Flowers leads the Senior Am at Coral Canyon. He is at minus 369 after the first day. Just two in front of Dustin Schaefer and Shane McMillan. Boy, Shane McMillan just always there.
He's
Yeah.
always there.
Always there.
Always there.
Yeah. And then 2 shots back of that, Darren Overson
Mhm.
is at T4 with Dirk Bigler and Matt Lyons. Matt Lyons and Darren Overson, again, a couple of players who are just in the mix all the time. That will conclude today. It's 36-hole stroke play tournament, so we will have a full report on a Utah Golf Radio podcast for you on that. You can check that out wherever you get your podcasts. And then over in the Ledges-am, being played oddly at the Ledges.
Wow.
What?
I'm looking at the
Leaderboard
leaderboard.
stacked.
It is a stacked leaderboard. Well, it's the PPR events do that,
Mhm.
but we've got Toa Afahengawe just at 2 under par leading the way. And that it is kind of interesting to me. I wonder if it was windy because I would have expected
A little bit lower
scores to be
there.
lower.
Mhm.
Yeah,
But yeah, again, another golf course that if it gets windy, it makes it tough.
and then at T2 there are 7 players at T2. So Afahengawe is at -2 after a 70 in the first round of this 36-hole stroke play event. And then 7 players tied at T2. Lucas Schoen, Jackson Moss, Rex Wilson, Tyler Herzog, Ty Anderson, Bryson Hirabayashi. Kind of interesting to see him back after his UVU career. And then Garrett Kiefer round out the 7 players who are T2 at 1 shot back. So this is a tournament that could go any number of different directions when it's all done. And then there's also a big group. There's, let's see, 6 at just at even par 2 shots back. They're T9, but they're only 2 shots back. So this is a really packed leaderboard. Again, we will have a report on, we'll do a podcast. And so you can check that out later this weekend, wherever you get your podcasts. But one thing to note here is they're playing. And I love that. We're not playing up here so much.
So we're living our lives through them.
We're living our lives through them. Wasn't able to get down there this weekend, but they're playing. Haley, another thing I wanted to talk to you about. We've been looking forward into the coming year, things on the schedule that have our attention. One of the things on the schedule that really has my attention this year is the Utah Women's Open going to your home course
Yes, sir.
of the Salt Lake Country Club,
Yes.
the Country Club
The
at
country
Salt
club.
Lake.
Yes.
Now, we are familiar with the Country Club as a championship venue, of course.
Yes.
We have seen it. We have seen it recently. We've had the State Am there just recently where Simon Kwan won.
Mm-hmm.
But what we haven't seen, and I really didn't key in on this, even though it's been in my face all these years, we haven't seen the women at the Country Club
A long time, yeah.
in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be so interesting to me to see the women playing these holes, playing this course, seeing how it's set up. And do you want some pressure going into it, Haley?
I got it.
Yeah,
The,
no big deal.
The six-time player of the year on her home track.
On our home course, yes.
You're gonna have a spotlight on you.
I will, and it's
And if you want, I'll just bring a spotlight and just hold it
We'll
on
just
you
hold it
I
there.
love
the
that.
entire time that you're playing, so that way you know what you're in for.
no, and it's kind of when we announced it to the membership, and they're like, "Oh, we can't." We're very excited, and a lot of them have said they want to come out and watch me play, and so it does add that added pressure. But
Oh,
Well,
girls,
I'm
we're
gonna be
co-
there. I'm gonna
yeah,
be
I know.
following
I
you.
mean, it's
Yeah.
gonna be there's
and
gonna be
I'm
a lot
gonna
of
make an
people.
announcement on Girls Go Golfing, and we're all going to be there. And we're all
Perfect.
root for you. It's going to be fantastic.
But the biggest thing that I'm excited for is to give the women like a better venue. Not that the courses that we've played in the past were bad. It's just finally like a
Well,
private club.
yeah.
Yeah.
One of us is the club, and the others are
Not. So I mean, it's just that simple.
Yeah.
It's
Yes,
not it's
but
not good or bad
it's-
on the other way.
It's
just
kind of
Yeah.
the
nice to
club.
match it up to the men. Like the men always get Riverside, nice venue. It's always in pristine condition. And so it's nice that we've brought it to the country club so that way they also can feel they get the same treatment and they have this nice course. And So we're trying to do some things behind the scenes to make it a little bit better and maybe one up the men. Just kidding.
Well,
Do it.
what do you know about what the section will be doing in course setup? A couple of holes in particular come to mind. I'm going to start with number 10, like where you'll play that. Do you know anything about that?
Not yet. Well, it hasn't been in conversation yet, but typically we play around 6,000 yards, 6,100, 5,800, like right in that range. And so that's about our white tees.
Okay.
So I mean, but again, from 10, the white tees, it's like 175 yards, I think.
Yeah, so it's not 235 like it plays from the tips, but
Right.
it's still gnarly.
It's still gnarly. You know,
Yeah.
you got a downhill, but then if you have the wind coming in your face, like you just never know what you're going to get. So it'll be really interesting.
Well, I can't wait to see it. That's gonna be a pretty dang cool thing.
Yes, it will.
What are you looking forward to this year on the schedule, Haley?
Honestly, anything and everything.
Okay.
I'm just ready to play. I'm really looking forward to the Women's Open.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
excited to see how many girls we get to sign up. Hopefully we can get our professional numbers up.
Do you think it being at the country club will draw more regionally?
I do.
Yeah.
I
So
think,
do I.
you know, now that we're talking about it on air here, and then I've kind of talked about like maybe we put it on social media as well, so that way it kind of gets the word out there. And I've been telling all the girls that I play with, like, hey, make sure you play the Women's Open. We've changed venues, and just trying to get the word out. And so I'm really curious to see how many we can attract to play at the club.
I am particularly pleased, not surprised because it has to happen, but very pleased to hear you describe the members' reaction.
Yes.
And I've got to presume that Mike Bailey had a hand in making this happen. He's involved in most of this kind of stuff.
He
bringing the
is.
club to a venue to a tournament.
But I can say that this was myself, the staff, and the Utah section.
I am so glad to hear that.
Yes.
Go you.
Go
So
you.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, obviously we
a-
had to get like the board like on board, like involved and things like that. But I've been talking to you know, our GM and Bill, saying, is this a possibility? And our superintendent Eric, he would love to get something back.
Yeah.
Although he did make an announcement yesterday, unfortunately.
What did I miss? What's happening?
It's
I
just
can
announced,
see it.
but he is leaving the country club.
Oh,
And he is now going to be the general manager down back at Riverside. So he is going back to his old home.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So,
well, congratulations.
It's a big congratulations to
to
him.
Eric Gifford. What a
yes.
what a
But a loss for us because
Yeah.
he is an incredible superintendent, incredible
Absolutely.
person.
He
But
is.
I'm
Absolutely.
very excited for the members at Riverside to
Yeah,
get him
I-
back.
Let me just pause for a minute on Eric Gifford. Two things. Now he's got this incredible top tier resume with stops at incredible courses all around the country before he landed and stayed in Utah. But two things: 4 or 5 years ago for the Utah Open, they replaced the irrigation system. That summer of the Utah Open, I played Riverside maybe 6 weeks in front of the Utah Open. And there was heavy equipment on the course. There were trenches that were just scars that had just barely been filled in. I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, there's not enough white paint available in a warehouse to mark this course. How in the world are they going to have it ready? And Eric Gifford got it ready. It was in terrific, perfect condition
He has a
for
gift.
the Utah Open just 6 weeks later.
Yes.
Still just staggers me. And then the other thing is, we mentioned when the State Am was at the country club a couple years ago. I've seen a lot of tournaments. I've been to a lot of venues. There's one time in my experience, when for a major tournament, there was no white paint on the course. Nothing needed to be marked. Could not have. Astonishing. We talked about it then, but it still just stays top of mind to me. How in the world do you have a whole course, 18 holes, and not have anything that needs marked? But Eric and his crew did it.
Yes.
It was astonishing.
Yes.
Yeah.
So very incredible. Sad loss for us, but very happy for the members at Riverside.
Totally valid.
Yes.
All right. We need a little Jet X update. Come listen to a story about a pro named Jed, a poor three-putter, he had bogeys in his head. And then one day he was shooting at the green, got the worst dang bounce anybody ever seen. Left, that is, short-sided, in the rough. The JetX Jug brought to us by our good friends at First Utah Bank. Check them out at firstutahbank.com for all your financial needs. We use them at First Tee, and they treat us so well. First Utah Bank. Jan,
Yes, Paul.
who we got leading the JetX?
Why don't you tell me?
Tommy Sharp.
As usual. Look at Tommy coming back in.
Yeah. He's got a team of Adam Hadwin, Joel Damon, and Lucas Glover. And he's doing really well. He's got a lead over White Albatross. I don't know who White
We don't know
Albatross
who that
is.
is yet.
We'll find that out.
Wait a minute. Who is
with
that?
a team of Patrick Fishburne, Ricky Fowler, and Xander Shoffley. The JetX Jug is, of course, the backdoor fantasy game we play here at Utah Golf Radio. Anybody can play free of charge. Go to our website at utahgolfradio.com. Click on JetX, and it's all self-explanatory from there. We are picking the 3 players who will barely keep their cards, barely make the top 100. You get a point for every position they're in, up to and including number 100. From number 101 and beyond, what is it?
Absolutely nothing.
Nothing, not a nil, no points. That's the JetX Jug, an awful lot of fun.
It is so much fun and
Check
so
it out.
volatile.
Yeah.
I love it.
Haley, we need you to get a JetX.
Yeah,
team.
I
do you
know.
have a team yet?
Not
Are you
yet.
doing it right now? I feel like you're on your phone. Is that
You're
what you were
looking
doing?
at
I was looking it up.
Okay,
so
there you go.
I just
Okay.
want to make sure I stay current.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. Well, we can let's load you up here and you can do it.
Jan, we need a UPod update.
Do it.
Give me an update, I need some scores. Wanna see my U-Pots on the leaderboard and watch him play, yeah. Whoa, give me an update, I need some scores. Wanna see my U-Pots on the leaderboard and watch him play, yeah.
The UPod update brought to us by our good friends at Scott Golf. Check him out at scottgolf.com, where he some
You
of the
love 'em.
sweetest clubs. I love my Scott clubs.
I
Love
know.
'em.
I'm super excited to play with mine today.
There we are.
All
Yep.
right. Well, last week at the Genesis, Tony came back with a T5 -8, 280 on rounds of 76, 69, 67, and 68. And we talked about that 76 because of the wind, did we not? It
Yeah,
was
we
kind
did,
of
we
a heck
did.
of a day.
Yeah, it was hard on everybody.
Yeah, so that 76
yeah.
is, a little bit. I wish we could take that one score and throw it out.
Yeah, but actually, still a top 5 finish for Tony.
Absolutely.
And there's a pattern emerging on Tony so far this year where he's doing well in the signature events
And
that are point heavy.
exactly.
And he's currently number 17 in the FedEx standings
So,
and
you're-
number 7 in the Ryder Cup standings. He is just one out of being a qualifier in the Ryder Cup. So Tony's doing pretty well.
Very good. Patrick Fishburne, he's at the Mexico Open right now. He unfortunately missed the cut. He finished even 142 on rounds of 65 and 77.
Haley,
Feel that pain so hard.
I know, I can see it on your face. Okay,
Oh.
guys, golf is hard.
Golf is hard.
Okay, even for Patrick Fishburne, there's and look, any sport, there's really no way to approach this other than to say, if you're a baseball pitcher, some days you're going to get lit.
Mhm.
If you're a basketball player, even if you're Steph Curry, some days you're going to clank it.
Yes.
Well, Patrick was clanking it. He just had a bad day after a really nice opening 65 that had him in the top 5
Right.
after the first round.
Yes. Oh,
Gave it all back.
brutal.
Oh,
Goes from top 5 to MC. It happens.
Yeah,
it
but
hurts. It hurts.
you're usually not on national television when you do it.
Well, it does. It does. All right. One thing we know about Patrick Fishburne, this guy's got a lot of bounce in him.
Yes,
He
he
does.
does.
He has a lot.
We have a lot more to look forward to.
He's coming back. He's going to do more good stuff, and we're gonna be there with him. All right, we want to send some love to Gabriel Palacios of the University of Utah. Gabriel is the Zions Bank Player of the Week, presented by Fairways Magazine. He got a T1 in the prestigious and very deep field John Burns over at in Hawaii,
Mhm.
and the Utes won They were T1 as well, but it counts as a win in college because of travel considerations. They very infrequently ever play these things off.
Right.
And so
Right.
so a T1 counts as a win. So both Palacios and University of Utah, the Utes, both they get a double win in the John Burns. It's a big deal. Had a really great conversation with Coach Garrett Clegg on a podcast, a Utah Golf Radio podcast. Go check that out wherever you get your podcasts. But Gabriel Palacios, the Zions Bank Player of the Week, presented by Fairways Magazine. I do want to note that the University of Utah moves up to number 11 in the national rankings, the highest rank ever for the Utes. Sergio Jimenez, who finished T3, one shot back. He was the leader after 2 rounds, and so he was just one shot back of Palacios for individually. He moves up to number 10 in his national ranking,
Nice.
and Palacios goes from 130 to number 45 in the national ranking. So Gabriel Palacios, the Zions Bank Player of the Week. All right, we got to take a break. When we come back on the other side, we're going to catch up with Jeff Thurman of the Utah Junior Golf Association about we're going to tee up the kids season, UJGA. When we come back on the other side, you are listening to Utah Golf Radio, powered by T-Box on the Rocky Mountain Golf Network. Yeah. Yeah. Utah Golf Radio coming back at you from the mothership, getting you inside the ropes on all things golf in Utah in partnership with Utah's leading golf organizations, the Utah Golf Association, the Utah Section PGA, Fairways Media, the Utah Golf Foundation, the Utah Golf Course Superintendents Association, the Utah Junior Golf Association, and First Tee Utah. This first hour of the show is presented by Salt Lake City Golf at slcgolf.com or the Salt Lake City Golf app. And we are powered by T-Box. Check them out at tbx.golf. Jan, it is time, maybe past time. It is time that we talk to Jeff Thurman and get ready for the UJGA season. Jeff, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Paul, Jan, and Haley. Good to be with you.
So glad to have you with us today, Jeff. The UGA season is coming up quickly. It frequently surprises me how amazingly fast your tournaments fill up, and that's happening already. But we want to talk about the schedule that starts in April with the UJGA opener at Southgate in St. George. Talk about some of the players. You've got a lot going on at the UJGA.
Well, we do. I'd like to, think that we get to wait a little bit to get going, but seems like right after the first of the year, it's time to sign up for junior golf. So, yeah, we're on our way.
I do want to note for everybody listening, UJGA.com, pretty straightforward. You can check them out if you're interested in getting your kids involved in this. You have an amazing schedule to me. Now, I'm quite familiar with it, been following it for many years, and yet every time I look at your annual schedule, it still is just mind-bending how much you pack into the year. What goes into putting all these tournaments together for you, Jeff?
Well, certainly it takes, a lot of cooperation with golf courses to be able to, to set up a schedule and impose on some cases on their patrons and members for these juniors to come in and to play. So certainly have to give them credit for their support of not just our program, but the other junior programs that are available. So that's the first thing. But if you look at the schedule, you'll see that, a lot of these tournaments are traditional sites, traditional tournaments. There are a few changes every year that occur, but for the most part, we kind of partner with courses that kind of take it as this is their event type of attitude, and that kind of makes it fun to be able to be there and have a history, and we can kind of look at what players had done at those venues from previous years and what to expect they would be doing this year. So right now, we started with, our membership drive and membership sign-ups, and we kind of hold off on signing up for tournament play till the middle of January 15th or 16th, I think it was this year. And we've gotten to a point that we don't allow a sign-up till 8 o'clock. And this year, because of last year, this year I kind of kept track of 8:01, 8:02, and 8:03, and by 8:03, some of the tournaments were full. So people are just waiting to hit the button at 8 o'clock so they can register. But regardless of that, though tournaments do fill up, spots do become available as schedules change for the juniors and spots come back open in the field. And we do have waiting lists that we establish that a player can get put on the waiting list and hopefully get into a tournament, or at least a number of tournaments that they would like to play in.
Holy cow. Have you ever had your computer crash on you with that amount of surge on the bandwidth needed?
I haven't had the computer crash, but I have had the phone crash.
Oh, yeah.
people trying to call in and they have questions and that, and so uh, we try to each year tell them, anticipate what you need and contact us long before that. But inevitably, it works out that that morning of we get a ton of questions and in fear that I couldn't log on, I forgot my password or whatever the case may be, and then they're worried about not getting into a tournament. So it can be nerve-wracking, I know, for members, for juniors, as to just the initial sign-up days. But we end up at the end of the year, I think most kids get to play in the events they want to play in, and you can see from the options that are available to them, they do have, throughout the year, there's going to be a number of tournaments that they can sign up for, even as late. We go through certainly through the end of September with some invitationals that we do, but our schedule really ends toward the end of July. Is when our schedule will end, and that's kind of coincides with kids getting back to school, and for the boys, high school golf starts early in the late summer, early fall, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And it just the beat goes on, right? There's one thing after another, but you really pack a lot into it. One of the things that I love and that jumps out at me as I'm looking at your schedule is the number of events that you have on the schedule, with a little parenthetical reference right after the name of the tournament, WAGR. People are getting World Amateur Golf Ranking points, WAGR points, for your tournaments. Not all of them, but several of them, and that's really impressive. Well, yeah, I'm interested in your thoughts on this.
The WAGR, I think there's a couple of things to consider for that. WAGR is an important ranking service that USGA provides, USGA and the R&A put together, and it kind of can help a player if they have WAGR points and WAGR rankings to be able to get into tournaments outside of what we would run, whether it be a junior or it be just a amateur event. Is what our players are looking for. And so when we first started WAGR ranked tournaments, which has to be a 54-hole event in order for it to be WAGR ranked, we started with just a couple of them. This was about 4 or 5 years ago. And as we have increased the number, I think this year we're up to 8 WAGR events on the schedule, we start to see players from out of state petition to get into these tournaments, mainly for the purpose of being a 54-hole format. So it strengthens our fields. They're strong fields. I remember a day when to play in the U.S. Junior, you had to, if you were a boy, you had to be a 6.4, and if you were a girl, it was like 18.4 just to sign up. Now the boys are at 2.4, and I think the girls are at 5.4.
Yeah.
And so
Wow.
you can see
That's
from that
incredible.
how it has changed in what I consider a short period of time within the last 20 years, really, which is exciting. It's exciting that golf has, these juniors have improved, and they're so competitive now that, they've dropped it down that low, and I would expect that we'll see it even go lower. I saw last year just a quick accounting of our boys division, and most of these are boys 15, 18. There are a few boys 13, 14 put into that, but we had 70 players with plus handicaps last year.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
And
Okay.
so that's, and I will say, and I think we all recognize this, that a junior likes to have a plus handicap, and a senior player, as myself, I'm looking for, a handicap that is as high as I can get it, so I can compete. So I think they have to realize that. But I think when you look at that, you can certainly say, geez, these kids are good players.
Very good.
And
Yeah.
I think
100%.
how they're performing nationally, as well as in the UGA's tournament series that they have, juniors are doing quite well, actually.
Absolutely. Let's talk about some of your players. One of the things always for you is players that are aging out. You're going to be you've lost some meaningful players. Lincoln Markham, he's gone, and Ashley Lamb, she's gone. But you've really got some great players. Who should we keep our eye on?
Well, we lose Carter Papke,
Yeah,
who was the
again,
golfer of
right,
the year.
right.
Lincoln's on a mission. Interesting enough, Lincoln's on a mission. I think he's up in Montana, and Boston's in Idaho. So
Right.
I think they're only 100 miles apart on their missions. But Will Pedersen, I think you look for good things from him.
Okay.
Jackson Erickson.
Yes.
Lance Loughton, he is going to be leaving on a mission in June, so he'll play the first part of the season, but then he'll be gone. But the interesting thing, though, is as you go down the list, every year I think, this is the strongest age division we've ever had, and then the next year I could say the same thing again. This is the strongest age division we've ever had, and you've got kids coming up. If you look at the 13, 14-year-old player of the year last year, Blake Brown, he's a 15, 18-year-old this year, and he'll compete and do quite well in that division. So they just keep getting better and better, and so the depth of the program, where we used to have 4 or 5 kids that would win tournaments, now we probably can go up to 25 to 30 kids in that 15, 18 age division that have the potential to win tournaments. So that's the strength of the program, is the depth of the program right now.
That is a really good point, and yeah, that makes totally good sense. Somebody wants to get more information about this. What should they do?
Obviously, you could go on our website, and if you can't find what you need there, you can send me an email at ujga1984@gmail.com, and that's the easiest way to get with me, to be able to answer your questions, and then you have something in writing that you then know exactly what it is. You can also call the office, of course, at 801-492-4637. And that information is all on the website under the contact link. So that would be the place to go.
Okay, fantastic. Jeff Thurman, thank you so much. We appreciate you joining us. I got to tell you, I can't wait to watch some of these kids play and to watch your tournaments.
Well, you're welcome at any of the tournaments. So please come out, and we'll have you be a starter.
I've done that. That's a gas. I like doing that. So yeah, I'll give you a call. Let's figure that out.
Perfect.
All right. Thank you, Jeff.
Thanks for having me, and good talking to you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff.
That is Jeff Thurman, the Executive Director of the Utah Junior Golf Association. Again, folks, UJGA.com. Check him out. Jan?
I was just going to say, I noticed that the finals happens to be at the Olympic Club this year.
Yeah.
So we should probably go. Should probably go. Yeah.
Little Olympic Club action.
Uh-huh.
That'd be all right.
Okay.
Okay, that is so cool. And it's so interesting to me, Haley. You hear him talk about these kids, and you know Will Pedersen, right?
I do.
Yeah.
He's a member at the club.
He's a member at the club.
Mhm.
So, and his dad's a good player.
Yes.
But I go up there from time to time, and it's funny. I see him there all the time.
All the time.
All the time.
Every day after school, he's down there.
Kind of not by accident that he's developing his talent, right?
Right.
I appreciate what Jeff said. Will Pedersen. That's a name we need to keep. That's a player
100%.
we need to watch this year.
Yes.
Good stuff. All right. We got to take a break. When we come back on the other side, a little things and stuff for you. You are listening to Utah Golf Radio, powered by T-Box on the Rocky Mountain Golf Network. Okay.
I'm doing stuff. Things. 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 Stuff. Things. Stuff. Things. 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 Or things. Things. It's stuff. Stuff. Things. Things. Stuff. Things. Things. Stuff. Stuff.
Things and stuff on Utah Golf Radio. Brought to us by Uinta Golf.
We're
You
just
can-
talking Uinta. We're just talking soft goods.
Yeah.
Lots of soft goods.
We're going to do that. We, of course, are coming to you in partnership with Utah's leading golf organizations, the Utah Golf Association, the Utah Section PGA, Fairways Media, the Utah Golf Foundation, the Utah Golf Course Superintendents Association, the Utah Junior Golf Association, and First Tee Utah. This first hour of the show is presented by Salt Lake City Golf, and there's a good chance, as Jan noted earlier, that there might be some tee times. Maybe. Fingers crossed. Watch the app or slcgolf.com to see if we can get on any of the great Salt Lake City golf courses. Probably open at Glendale or Rose Park prior to Bonneville, and certainly prior to Mountain Dell.
Yeah, next week is definitely golf weather.
Well, it's all golf weather.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But
Perspective.
it's,
No,
it's
there's
but no,
two
there's two kinds of weather.
two kinds of weather, Haley. There's golf weather and
Okay. Good golf weather.
two
So
kinds of weather.
next
So
week
next
is going
we
to
might
not
have
be. We might have a
almost-
day of
almost
good
golf
weather.
Yeah,
could
okay.
happen.
It could happen.
Fingers
In
crossed.
which case, either way, you're going to need
Your Salt
some.
Lake City Golf app.
You're going to need the Salt Lake City Golf out. Check that out, and
Ooh,
you're
yeah.
also going to need
Stuff.
the proper clothing for
Yeah.
whatever the weather is. And Jan, you've
Let me
been
t-
perusing
I
the,
have
the
been
women's
perusing
apparel
the-
at Uinta.
At Uinta. So they have some of the most wonderful things there. And my favorite department is sale.
Right.
So I go to that department immediately when I go there. But yeah, they have some wonderful things. And, it's been so great to watch Uinta and other places really grow their women's game. And it's just been a thrill to see all of the new stuff coming out and how many brands there are. I mean,
So
can
many
you
brands.
remember when you first started looking at women's, you basically had Nike, Puma, and something
Adidas,
yeah, something like that. Now there are 100 different brands for women. It's
Yes.
insane. It's everyone's getting into the clothes market.
You're really young, Haley. You experienced that as well.
I mean, I probably had a little bit more brands, but I mean, it wasn't as many as when you walk into Uinta now. Where you're
Okay,
like, wow, okay.
really good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good job. I didn't really.
Wonderful
I should pay more
wonderful
attention, I-
selection, and I like their stuff on their website. Go to their website, worldwidegolf.com.
And you are sporting some stuff you
From
got.
I went online, and I'm not kidding you. I went to the sale to my favorite department, and everything is on sale, and the prices were absolutely fabulous. I got 2 pairs of pants, 2 jackets for $67,
Which is insane.
and shipped to me. It was an even $67.
Wow.
Nice.
That's like the cost of a polo normally.
I
So
know.
That's really incredible.
Actually, you can spend more than that on a polo.
Oh,
Oh,
my
100%.
goodness!
No-
Yeah,
no
skill.
easily.
Just saying.
So, but yeah,
Yeah.
go check it out.
All
I
right.
mean, especially I'm really pleased with the women's section at Uinta.
Do you have a favorite brand, Jan?
You know what? I really like Tail.
Well, that's a good one.
I kind of like
What-
it. It's
what do you
it's
call
a
it?
brand called Tail, Tail.
Okay.
Tail. But I still like the usuals. I do love Puma.
I was
Mhm.
going to say,
I
I
love
see
Puma.
you wearing Puma a lot.
I
so,
love
yeah,
the
okay.
Puma. It's the one that grabs me the most. I
Okay.
think.
What about Tail do you like? Because I know a lot of people, you don't see it much. I mean, it's
Mhm.
starting to come. You see it in Dick's. You see it
I
at
like it
Uinta now.
because it's a true size fit.
Oh, that's good.
And when it's something that says it's small or extra small, I know exactly how it's going to fit. It's not going to be too big here, too small there. They just fit you really, really well. And as you know, it's important to make sure you're not tugging at them or you're fiddling with them in any way. But
Absolutely.
yeah, so I really like that, and I love the price point. Honestly,
It is a really good
Okay,
price
that
point.
matters.
Yes.
Okay.
Paul,
All right.
What's your favorite brand
For golf
for
clothes?
golf clothes?
it's
I
obvious.
mean, I
I'm-
know what you're
It's-
wearing.
it's
Yeah,
pretty
I'm,
obvious.
I'm a Primo guy. I wear a lot of Primo. like all the time.
What do you like about it?
Uh, Tiger said something recently about his clothes.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, he was promoting his line and
Right.
his design features, but he said something that really got my attention and reminded me of the Primo that I wear. He said, "I want it to move with me in such a way that I don't feel my clothes when I swing."
I like that.
Okay, and I immediately thought, gosh, first of all, good point. But I get that with the Primo.
Good.
It moves. I really like the way it moves.
And
with
that's
me in the swing.
exactly how I buy and look for clothes. Is I want to feel like
It's going to move with you,
it's
not
going to
move
move with
against
me,
you.
or you're not wearing
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah.
I mean, you're just comfortable. It's just
Yeah.
you're not thinking about it in any way. I'm not thinking about my shirt while I'm on the tee box.
Yeah,
I mean,
really.
come
if
on.
if you are, there's a problem.
Yeah, we got issues.
Okay. Interesting. Good stuff. All right. World
Wide
Wide
golf
golfshops.com. You can also, if you put in uintagolf.com, it will redirect.
I even have a
Take you
better
there.
idea.
What's
Just
that?
go to Uinta.
Go to the stores.
Yeah,
They're-
I like to say that there's a Uinta next to a golf course that you forgot something at.
There you go.
Good point.
Yep.
Riverdale, Riverdale, Sugar House, Sandy, Orem, and St. George.
Yep.
Yes.
All right. Check them out at Uinta Golf. All right, we got to take a break. When we come back, I've been looking forward to this. We will pick up
Oh,
our
I'm so excited.
incomplete conversation with Guy Yoakum about his 7 top memories from his career at Golf Digest. Guy Yoakum on the other side. You are listening to Utah Golf Radio, powered by T-Box on the Rocky Mountain Golf Network. It's 9 o'clock on a Saturday. That means Utah Golf Radio coming to you live today from the mothership, the beautiful downtown studios of ESPN 700, getting you inside the ropes on all things golf in Utah in partnership with Utah's leading golf organizations, the Utah Golf Association, the Utah Section PGA, Fairways Media, the Utah Golf Foundation, the Utah Junior Golf Association, and First Tee Utah. This second hour of the show is presented by Mountain Land Supply. Check them out at mountainlandsupply.com for all the stuff you need for your home or your business. You know you need it. Mountain Land Supply will have it. Check them out. Stores up and down the Wasatch Front. We are powered by T-Box. They are cracking the code on the whole golfer experience at T-Box. You're going to want to go if you're not there already. And they've got the best website. Check website address, tbx.golf. How cool is that? And we are joined now by one of my favorite peeps and a member of the Utah Golf Hall of Fame. You know him. This is Guy Yoakum. Guy, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. How you guys doing out there? I hope it's warmer out there than it is here in snow-covered, snow-caked, shivering Connecticut.
Okay. I feel your pain. I really do. I'll send you a picture of the storm that we had here just 2 days ago. Well, let me say this. Brooke calls this my grumpy season, and she's not wrong. I've been grumpy for a long time. But it's cold in Connecticut as well, is it, Guy?
Colder than a mother-in-law's kiss.
Okay, there we are. All right.
You got all kinds of analogies going
I
on.
love it. I love it.
Well, Guy, of course, as everybody knows, Golf Digest is celebrating its 75th anniversary this year, which is pretty amazing. First of all, to be in business for 75 years, go Golf Digest. But you were there for about half of that, and we started a conversation a couple of weeks ago about your top 7 memories from your years at Golf Digest and the stories that go with them, and we were only able to get about halfway through, and so I've been looking forward to this, to where we can get back together and finish our conversation about your top memories, because they're incredible.
Yeah, well, I know. Last time we visited, it felt like we were trying to put a 10-pound show in a 2-pound bag.
Okay, fair enough.
That's exactly what was happening.
Fair enough.
I think that's just a Guy Yoakum thing. Whenever we have Guy, we just cancel everything else.
Yeah, really. I should just know better.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, you had told us about some incredible stuff with Mr. Hogan, some Sam Snead. What else you got on your mind? Pick us up. What's next?
Well, let's see. I thought for today I kind of picked some B moments.
Okay.
Some B-roll moments. You know, there's so many exciting, high-profile things that you get to see over that many years. But there's a lot of events that sort of stick in my mind just because they were sort of quirky or unusual moments, rather than ones that would go into the National Archives. Say.
Okay.
So let's see. I'll start with the PGA Championship of 1987.
Okay.
All right. Now you don't get that much more obscure than the 1987 PGA Championship. And in a way, it was not very obscure. A lot of times it's looked at as sort of the worst major ever.
Okay.
In the sense, yeah, it was a really weird experience. Okay. So it was held at PGA National, down in Palm Beach Gardens. And the PGA Championship
in August?
was held in August.
Oh,
and
okay.
There is a reason that you do not see the PGA Championship in August or, anywhere in the deep South in August. It's very rare.
Okay.
And the
Yeah.
reason for that is it is just hell hot. Oh, man. The wind doesn't blow. I realized that a place like St. George can be hot in July. But I've never been in heat quite like this. It was 97 degrees, and the heat indexes were off the charts. It felt like 112, something like that. The humidity was really, really high. So you get out there, you just you felt like you'd walked into some Armageddon movie set or something like that. The second you got out of your air conditioned car out into that that heat, it just hit you like a wall. It was really, really just like going into a sauna. The heat was so bad that it killed the golf course. All the grass died. And this is hardy Bermuda grass that is designed for that kind of heat. And even it didn't survive. And so to make it somewhat presentable on TV, they spray painted the greens.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and they didn't choose the right color. It was kind of this sickly greenish yellow kind of color that they sprayed on the greens, and on TV it looked awful. Your TV, you're adjusting the color to think, what's wrong with my TV here? But, anyway, that it was surreal in a number of ways. For one thing, there was a pond, kind of a lake, a pond out alongside like 16, 17 of those holes. And out in the middle of it, they had set up like a great big float. And you've seen this type of thing where they'll put a car out on one of these floats, to advertise like an Oldsmobile or whatever they had out there.
Okay.
But in this case, they had a car out there, but they also had, by the car, they put a girl, a young woman in like this bikini. And it was a very revealing bikini. And it's sort of this bright pink or orange. Gosh, what was the color?
And nobody said, don't do that.
That's
stop.
Right.
Just stop.
That's just, what are you doing?
Huh?
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing?
Yeah, what are we doing here? And anyway, it was in the tournament itself. I mean, the players were just wandering around there in a daze through the rounds each day. And I remember Bobby Watkins, I believe, led early. But then it kind of, the tournament shaped up, and it looked like Ray Floyd was going to be the favorite. I think he led after the second, third round, perhaps. But back there lurking in the maybe in fifth or sixth place, 4 shots off the lead, was Larry Nelson.
Okay.
And Larry Nelson, is one of the great, underrated, underappreciated players in golf history.
Yeah, with a great backstory, absolutely.
Incredible backstory. Well, Larry Nelson hung in there like grim death in this tournament. Larry Nelson grew up in Georgia.
Oh,
yeah. And speaking of hot places to be, he was in the infantry, in the service, in Vietnam. So he knew something about heat. Okay, heat of all kinds. But I'll tell you, this tournament wasn't as bad as having someone shoot at you. But geez, it was.
But the weather was the same.
It wasn't quite as bad as someone shooting at you. But
when I interviewed Larry, I did one of these My Shot pieces with him, and I always loved being around Larry Nelson. His backstory, as you say, was fascinating. I mean, it's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Self-taught guy. He didn't take up golf until he got back from the service. He had never played golf before.
Yeah, started the game at 25. He bought 5 lessons by Hogan, and then just taught himself out of the book. And he did the right thing. He went backwards in playing the game. He spent his time putting and chipping and short game and stuff before he ever went out and tried to play.
Very smart.
Amazing.
That's right. Holy
Amazing.
cow, you're very well versed on Larry Nelson. I know that I remember Larry telling me that he, the first time he played the mini tour event, or his first go at the mini tour, some members at this little club had passed the hat and got together enough money for him to make expenses, pay his expenses, and get out there. And he said that one of the very first tournaments, he said he was so green so new to all of it that on one hole he hit his ball down and kind of near a creek, and there were rocks and stuff down there, and he's in a hazard, a penalty area, and he's not sure how to proceed through there. So he goes, well, gee, I can't touch the ball. So he's plucking out stuff kind of around the ball, and this other pro is standing there watching him with his mouth open. And Larry looked up. He's as honest as the day is long, but he's not supposed to touch anything in a hazard. And so he looks up at the guy and sees the look on his face, and he just says, "Is everything okay? Am I doing anything wrong here? Can I move this? Can I move this pebble here?" And the guy looked at him and says, "Well, you can move that pebble, but if you do, you'll be lying 12." So
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, he already had like 10 penalty strokes already. But Larry Nelson, before he teed off in the final round there, he told me that there were two things. Larry Nelson said that he was never a good putter, just never was. He had to come to terms with it. No amount of dogged practice would turn him into a good putter. So he said before that last round, he said, in fact, he went to he was putting horribly, just hitting it like Ben Hogan, but he couldn't putt. So he goes to putting green, and he brings with him a Ping Anser putter and then another putter that was kind of a rear shafted deal. And he just shrugged and chose Ping Anser. And he went out and just played this really, really steady, really terrific round, and wound up tied for the lead. And he won. He wanted a playoff. Oh, geez, I should be better prepared. Who was it? He beat Lanny
Watkins in the play. Yeah.
That's right. And but, when I asked him about it, the thing that interested me was how hot was it, Larry? And he said it was so hot that day. He said, first of all, and he said he was really in the zone. He was focused. And I go, well, God, you're right. It was so weird. Remember those greens and how they were painted, this off color? He goes, yeah, I do remember that. He said it felt like playing on the surface of Venus. So,
Okay.
and he said it was the bleachers. He said the other thing was earlier in the week. It was attendance was very low that week.
Yeah, go figure.
Yeah, people just couldn't take the heat. It wasn't just that, but the bleachers around 18. These were not like with little seats like you see.
Tell me they were metal.
Yes, they were metal.
Oh no,
metal bleachers.
Like at a Utah high school football game. And he said you couldn't sit on them because it would just
burn
you.
you.
It would broil. It would broil your backside if you.
It might sizzle when you sit.
Yeah. So he said, but what he remembered, he goes, it was the darndest thing. He said on every tee, they had like these cups, like Dixie cups, the big Dixie cups, 12, 15 ounces of water.
Okay.
And he said he would get to that tee and he would just stand there and drink water on every tee. And he said he drank countless numbers of these 12-ounce glasses, cups of water. And he said he must have drank 100. He said he drank so much that he got tired of drinking it. He goes like, I can't swallow any more of this. But he did this for the whole duration of the round. And he said, the funny thing is, I didn't visit the restroom once.
Oh, just sweat it out.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
He said he just took it. And I go, wow, Larry, that must have been something. He goes, well, the weird thing is it was hotter in Memphis the week before that.
Oh wow.
Oh my gosh.
I go, really? And players had told me that it never got hotter anywhere than in Memphis. That was even worse than PGA National. But I never forgot that. I just remember I'd be in the clubhouse and would walk out, say, I think I need to do my job here, go out and walk the golf courses. And I would open the door to that, and it was just like opening an oven to check the turkey on Thanksgiving. just the heat just come out of there and hit you, and you would instantly, uh, you know, moisture would just immediately condense. It would form on your skin and just soak your clothing. I mean, you just went through you. So anyway, that was
Okay.
a memory. It was
Yeah.
it was a great
Wow.
thing for Larry Nelson to win that tournament. But it was entertaining. It was unusual. It was fun to come back from there and to kind of do a trip report on that. So
Wow.
I never forgot that. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah,
And,
incredible.
And then one more, if you got time
Yeah.
for today.
Yeah.
I could pick off 2 of these a week.
Okay.
Let's do it. I love it.
The next one was at Indian Wells Country Club,
Okay.
February 15th, 1995. It was the Bob Hope Desert Classic. I can't remember who the sponsor was. They had a million over the years. Maybe American Express. I can't remember for sure. But on that day, 3 presidents of the United States played together in the Pro-Am. It was on a Wednesday. You know, the Bob Hope was always a 5-day event. And on Wednesday, there were three presidents playing there. There was President Gerald Ford, former President Gerald Ford, former President George Bush, who had lost the previous election to Bill Clinton, and Bill Clinton was there.
Wow.
So
Wow.
Clinton, Bush, and Ford, with also in the group was Bob Hope himself.
Oh
Okay.
my
Who at
goodness.
that point was, geez, like 100 years old. He was an old guy then. So that also was surreal. It was it was just this unique day. It was and there was a pro in the group. The pro was Scott Hoke, good player, kind of underappreciated. Scott
Yeah.
Hoke was a really good player.
Yeah.
And so they're playing as a 5-some. And so following them around, and it was just bizarre. Each of the presidents had his own Secret Service detail. Okay?
Oh,
So all
wondering how
you
that would
saw
work.
when you looked around
and
was
there's
armies
guys.
of these guys with their coats bulging. They're wearing blazers and with these bulges under their coats, and they're submachine guns.
Yeah.
Gosh.
So there's like 50 of those guys, all wearing sunglasses, and they've got earpieces in. They've got binoculars, looking at all the condos around there, and it was quite a strange thing. None of these guys were good golfers. And,
But at least
and that
Bush
day,
played
sure enough,
quick.
It was eventful. What's that?
At least Bush played quickly.
He did. Well, he tried to play quickly, but that took 5.5 hours, and most of the problem was just trying to move the people around. Because
Okay,
when you would go
sure.
from green to the tee, the gallery for them, needless to say, was enormous.
Yeah.
And when you would go from tee to green, it would go into these funnels of people where it was super congested. And so everything moved really slowly. Again, it was 5.5 rounds. It's kind of funny though. That seemed like an eternity then. But we've seen some golf this year where rounds have taken 5.5 hours with them just playing a threesome. So go figure. But it was a little nuts that day. It was a lady got hit. George Bush, Herbert Walker Bush, H.W. Bush, he hit a lady in the face. One of his drives, hit her around the nose or her eye. It broke her glasses.
Oh, gosh.
Geez, he came up, he apologized profusely, and the lady went to the hospital, got stitches, and tried to come back to the golf course, but she couldn't come back. The Secret Service
They wouldn't let her?
in. The poor
Oh,
thing.
geez.
And then another guy got hit in the leg, I think also by George Bush. And then another guy got hit in the finger and in the hand. And so, it was a good vibe. It was a good move around there. You could hear them talking. They're mixing it up with the gallery. And President Bush, he played the best of the 3 presidents.
Oh,
George
that's
Bush was Yeah, he was a pretty good golfer back in the day. You know, he had played baseball at Yale.
Yeah, played on a national
uh,
championship team actually at Yale.
Yeah, how about that? And he's not a bad golfer. He'd won the club championship at Cape Arundel
Oh, wow.
up in Massachusetts many years before that. So that was kind of a cool thing to witness. I don't think we'll see something like that again.
Probably not.
And but for, I was there all week. And so an interesting was who else was in the pro-am. And I had two interactions there. One was with Leslie Nielsen, who was the actor.
Oh, yeah.
So
Airplane.
of Naked Gun fame,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And I remember going in to get something to drink, and you go in. So there's a bar there, and I'm just up to get like a soda to get back on the golf course, and he's standing there with 4 or 5 guys. So I just went up, stood alongside him, and I just look at him, and it just you think, holy crap, this is Leslie Nielsen. I said, Mr. Nielsen, love your movies. How's your week going? And he just looked at me and smiled, and he did this thing where whenever he went out in public, he carried this little, how do I be?
It's a whoopee
Like
cushion.
a whoopee cushion,
Totally.
if you will.
Yeah.
But he held it in his hand, so he would look you straight in the eye with a straight expression, and he would pretend he was talking, but he would squeeze this thing in his hand, so it sounded like he was just breaking wind while squeezing this thing. So it was like his running sight gag. So he never said a word to me. He just kind of did it. and he did it, and then later I'm just kind of roll my eyes, and then I saw him like around later through the week. And he did the same thing with everybody. Yeah. And for some reason, it just kept everybody, and everybody would laugh, when he did that. So
I know this is random and odd, but I actually spent an evening with Leslie Nielsen once.
Oh my goodness!
And he had the whoopee cushion.
That's why I'm like, how? Why would you know about this?
Because I've been there, done that.
Oh my gosh, Paul!
And
that's insane.
And oddly, at the event, Gerald Ford was there as well, and Peter Ueberroth and Clint Eastwood. This was a pretty high roller event, and he was doing it with them as well.
Oh my gosh!
I just stood back and watched the whole thing.
That is so cool.
That is so cool.
Yeah. I mean, geez, look at the stuff you've experienced. This is really cool. And incidentally, since you mentioned Clint Eastwood, he was there that week.
Okay.
And there's Clint Eastwood. Oh my God, Dirty Harry is here. And so he had just come off the golf course. He had played his 9 holes. He had played his first 9 holes, and apparently had played terrible because he goes right to the range. And I thought, geez, I'm going to go up and hit him up and see if he would be willing to do a swing sequence with us. Can we arrange at some point down the road to send out a photographer and just take pictures of his golf swing, and then have somebody analyze Dirty Harry's swing.
Okay.
And so I thought, well, now's a good time. He's out on this range all alone, but he was not in a good mood. He just had that squint, that scowl, just like Dirty Harry on the range. And so I kind of tiptoed up to him and, waited for in between shots to approach him. I said, Clint, excuse me. And he kind of looked up and gave me sort of this look. And I said, would you mind, would there be a time possibly when you would perhaps, with Golf Digest, we could do a swing sequence with you? And didn't say anything, just kept squinting at me. And then he finally said, I don't think so. So I'm a little persistent. I reached in my wallet and I said, well, how about I give you my card? He goes, I'm kind of busy out here. And I said, okay, well, maybe if I could slip you my card, my business card, maybe you or your publicist or someone can call me later. But we'd love to do it, and it would look great and all that. So I kind of handed him the card, and he just looked at that card for a minute, and then he looked at me with an even more intense scowl, squint. He said, "I don't like carrying that shit around, all right?" I thought, man, I'm going to get out of here before he pulls a 44 Magnum on me. And so,
Did you check your car for booby-trapped bombs before you drove off?
yeah, there you go. Yeah, they called me Scorpio the rest of the week.
Oh,
so anyway,
man.
all that happened sort of in 1 week, and so again, this is not These are not big parts of golf history.
Oh, but they're
still things
they're great.
I think about.
They're great. Oh, mercy. Well, Guy, we could just go and keep going, but darn it, we're gonna have to let you go. And I so appreciate you. I so appreciate how you are a part of the Utah game, and you keep your Utah roots, and so appreciate the kindness and the attention and grace you show us. So thank you so very much. Love hearing about all this stuff. I can't wait till the next time we get together. It'll be so good to see
It's
you.
always good to be with you. You too, Jan. And call anytime. Holy crap! I've got a million. I've got a million of these.
Be
So
careful. Be
anytime.
careful.
what you say. I like that we both came up with that right at that moment, Paul. Be
Exactly.
careful what you say to Paul.
Exactly. Thank you, Guy. I appreciate it.
Okay, guys. You
Thanks.
got it.
We'll
Check you
see.
soon, huh?
Yes.
All right. That is Guy Yoakum, Utah Golf Hall of Famer, West High, Weber State, the Ogden Examiner, and then he went on to Golf Digest, where he had an internationally significant career, all of which landed him in the Utah Golf Hall of Fame. And boy, howdy, Haley, that guy has seen some stuff.
I mean, it's funny. Jan looked at me and she's like, "Were you even born yet?" When he's telling the first
The
story about the
87,
PGA.
yeah.
And no, but it's just still, like you said, I could listen to those stories.
Oh,
I can
God.
listen to
They're
him
incredible.
for hours.
Yeah,
He's just the best
Look, and
storyteller.
Larry Nilsson won 3 majors, and he's a member of the World Golf Hall of Fame.
Right.
And he never touched a club till he was 25.
Which is incredible.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. But he was low survivor, apparently. the
Less survival golf.
1987 PGA Championship.
Game of
So,
survival.
yeah, that is really cool. All right. We got to talk about somebody who needs some relief.
R-E-L-I-E-F, I'm just trying to do my best. R-E-L-I-E-F, I need some. Give it to me, 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 give it to me.
Brought to us by Duro Health. You want to swing faster, hit it farther, play better, feel better. Check them out at durohealth.com. They are offering an annual sports performance package to help you play better. durohealth.com. Check them out. And Haley, it's funny. Guy mentioned this, the big long rounds. I'm going to say there's been a lot of talk recently on the PGA Tour about trying to do something finally with slow play.
Yes.
We all need some relief from slow play.
Yes, we do.
Okay, I'm going to
What's the answer?
I'm going to do it fast because we don't want to be slow.
Okay.
Jan, you go first. One thing they can do to make play go faster.
Timer.
Okay.
Oh, that was mine. Shoot. Shot timer.
Shot clock.
You can't take hers.
Shot
That
clock.
was mine. It was in my head.
I think it's the
Okay.
first thing that comes to everybody's mind is shot clock.
I'm gonna go tie it to the score. In every other sport,
Ooh.
you get penalized in some way
Yes.
for the performance.
Well, it used to
Tie
be that
slow
way.
play
it
to the
used
score.
to be that way where you'd get penalized.
Yeah.
And I will say the only time I've ever gotten penalized was by Jeff Thurman
Oh gosh.
in a Utah Junior Golf Association. But it was well deserved, right? And it was to teach us that, listen, if you're going to play slow, you will be penalized.
Tie
And
it
I
to the
think
score.
we've gotten
Yeah.
away from that. And I mean, that is a rule in
Yep.
that is a rule in golf, right?
Yeah.
Like you can be penalized for slow play, and we just kind of
It's
got away
never
with it.
never used.
No.
No.
And it should be.
Should be used.
Yeah,
Yes.
All right.
exactly.
Okay. Let's talk about something Buddy on a says. Honest is brought to us by Next Level Golf. Check them out at nextlevelgolfut.com in Cottonwood Heights. Honest is, I'm going to do a little homeboy love here.
Okay.
Tony Finau is going to be playing just one time. He's making a cameo in TGL on Monday, the 24th, this upcoming Monday. Tony Finau will be playing for the LA Club and TGL because Justin Thomas can't make it. So they brought in Tony.
Oh,
Tony,
that's cool.
Tony he'll be having a little Sizz moment on TGL. Make sure you check him out when he's playing Monday.
That has been fun to watch.
Yes, I dig it.
I just want to play
I
it.
dig
I
it.
want to do it.
Okay, that's a good
I
point.
want to do it. It's just it makes me want to do that. I mean, when you watch golf, it makes you want to play golf. But when you watch this, it makes you want to do this. It's so cool. I mean, just the whole idea of because I spend a lot of time in a simulator now.
Yeah.
Because of the winter, so I love the idea. But then you get to chip on real grass, and you get to putt on a real green. I mean, that's just cool.
Yeah, their green is
But it's a
mechanical, but
it's a
yeah.
rotating green
But
too.
anyway, I'm interested in your take on the TGL because you do the next tour, so you do some
Yeah.
sim stuff.
Yes.
So what's your take on TGL?
We were talking about this the other day, and I think it's so cool because it's a time where you get to see players where they're serious but also letting loose,
And
you
having
see them
fun.
having fun, and also you get to see every shot. Like when you're watching and playing on tour,
that is
Yeah.
a good point.
Yep.
you only get to
Yes.
see, okay, I saw their tee shot, and then you're running up, and then you miss their second shot, and then you're running up, and then you may see a putt. But here, you get to see every shot, every
Everything,
thought
yeah,
process.
yeah.
And just, I mean, this is, I'm sure everyone saw it, but is when Tiger, when they're
Got
yelling
the arty trunk?
99, and he has a wedge in his
99,
hand,
I
and they're
know.
like, what is he doing? And you
Oh
can
my
clearly
God.
see on the screen,
It says
it's
199. It says 194.
He's like, you said 99. And it's funny because we've all done that, right?
Oh,
but
it's very common to
it's
drop
so
the first
common.
digit when you're talking about
Yes.
numbers because you can see what's going on, and when somebody says this is 54, it's 154.
Yes.
Um,
but
Tiger missed that.
Yes, and it's so cool to see because we've all seen Tiger as this serious player, not a lot of emotion, very steady, and this has been where you get to see his personality come out
Yeah.
and having fun with the guys. And I mean, I've never seen Tiger laugh so much and have the biggest smile on his face while playing golf.
Yeah.
And so it's just a really cool side to a really cool thing to see a different side of these players.
Well,
Good
it
stuff.
reminds us that they're human.
Yeah.
Yes.
I
Not
mean, they
robots.
are from Krypton, but they are
Visiting
human.
from Krypton.
But the most, but
Mhm.
I think the most significant thing about TGL, shot clock.
Shot clock. I do like the shot clock.
Shot clock.
All right, we got to take a break. When we come back on the other side, we're going to tell you about some really special stuff happening down in Orem at UVU. You are listening to Utah Golf Radio, powered by T-Box on the Rocky Mountain Golf Network. Utah Golf Radio. Coming at you from the mothership. We're in the beautiful downtown studios of ESPN 700 today, getting you inside the ropes on all things golf in Utah, in partnership with Utah's leading golf organizations, the Utah Golf Association, the Utah Section PGA, Fairways Media, the Utah Golf Foundation, the Utah Golf Course Superintendents Association, the Utah Junior Golf Association, and First Tee Utah. The
Paul?
second hour of the show, presented by, I needed some air. This second hour of the show is presented by Mountain Land Equipment. Check them out. They've got all the big stuff you need for all of the projects you've got to do, mountainlandequipment.com. Jan, the Utah Valley University men's golf team has been doing some really incredible stuff. They are on their way right now. They're down at the airport this morning, getting on a flight to Fresno for the Nick Watney. They're going down to their next tournament. But this last week, they won at Casablanca. They won the Mesquite tournament and got the double win, as Dane Huddleston also won, which meant that this was his third win in a row as an individual. He won the last two tournaments he teed it up in before the winter break, and came out of the winter break. In the first tournament, he gets the W again.
That's awesome.
Pretty amazing stuff. And keep in mind, this is the UVU team that gave us Brady McKinley
Yep.
a couple years ago. Got 4 wins
Yes.
in a row.
Ooh,
and now
so now we-
Huddleston sits
Ooh.
at 3. He could match McKinley with a win this week in the Watney. Pretty.
That would be really cool.
Yeah, really, right?
It's like
Wow.
that's got to be a big motivation for him.
Yeah, for sure.
So Utah Valley, let's just go through the leaderboard here.
Okay.
Utah Valley came in at minus 21 in the 54-hole event for a 3-shot victory over Eastern Kentucky, and it was a come-from-behind win. They were a couple shots back after they were 4 shots back after the second round, and came back to win by 3 in the final round. Cal Poly was in third place. Notably, Utah Tech
Utah Tech.
in fourth place. And look, there are some good things happening at Utah Tech. They made the move to D1 recently. Haley, you
Yep.
of course are a Utah Tech alum. I'm sure you've been following what they're doing
Absolutely.
as well.
Yes.
And they have the current Utah Tech has the current UGA Player of the Year in Zach Feltz. They also have a recent PPR event winner. Sand Hollow Am was won by Jackson Reese,
Yep.
Another Utah Tech player. So good things happening there.
It's very fun to watch them. It's fun to kind of watch, especially I follow more of the women's side because that's where I was, but
Of course.
even the men's side, what they're doing, what the program's done since they've turned D1, it's really fun to watch.
What has your attention on the women's team, since obviously you were there?
It's kind of the amount of talent. It's kind of like reminded me of what Jeff said is, they're the handicap to get into these events. For the ladies back then, it was 18 point something.
Yeah.
And now watching these girls is they're coming in under par more often. And it's just a level of talent that they have, and the direction that the program's going is just really fun to watch.
Huddleston led the way, of course, with the win, but the Wolverines had 4 players in the top 15. Ryan Siemens and Andrew Hawk were both T13. Zach Erskine, who has won a tournament himself this last fall, he was in 10th position individually. So you had Huddleston with the win, Erskine in 10th place individually, and then 2 players at T13, Andrew Hawk and Ryan Siemens. With that gets the job done, and the Wolverines get the team win. But the big story was Dane Huddleston with his 3rd win in a row. Like I said, they're getting on a plane as we speak, but I had a chance to talk with Huddleston last night about his win. Olivia, let's roll the tape. Here is Dane Huddleston.
Dane, you not only got the W, you not only won again, it's 3 in a row. Holy cow, great work, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
Tell us, first of all, what you did. Your two other victories on this string, of course, it overlaps the Christmas break.
Mm-hmm.
What'd you do to keep everything together, to keep yourself in top flight condition?
Ooh, that's a good question. The goal over winter break was to put on some weight, put on some muscle, just to get the ball out there a little more. So I did that, put on about 10 pounds over the break. So I think that helped my distance off the tee. But I think the big thing that it helped with was just the structure of my golf swing. It kind of just feels like, I mean, usually when you think of, putting on muscle or putting on weight, you think of hitting it further. But for me, it's been like everything just feels more structured, and so that's been nice. But other than that, swing-wise, I honestly didn't play a ton. I mean, when I was home in Woodland, Washington, the weather was a little better up there, so I probably played or practiced a few times a week. Nothing crazy. I mean, it's, really rainy up there. But and then when I came back to Utah in early January, we have a nice indoor sim room, and we can hit in our dome. So I was just doing that a few times a week, and then as soon as the weather got good enough to go outside and go play, I was. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely tough in Utah just with the weather, but I feel like I did a pretty good job of keeping on track.
Well, apparently you did. You were red all 3 rounds at Casablanca, and of course you ended up with the victory. One thing that jumps out of the scorecards to me is that you went 54 holes without a double bogey. Really never gave back much of the birdies you were making. What do you attribute that to? What in your play is keeping you from having the big hole?
Yeah, I'd attribute that to probably my driving. I mean, I haven't exactly counted up how many fairways I hit, but I'd bet I probably missed about 1 fairway a day, if I had to guess. I mean, my game off the tee was really good, so I think just keeping it in play. I mean, it's hard to make a double bogey out of the fairway, so I'd say that was the biggest thing.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a very good point. Now that you are starting to rack up some victories, obviously you're getting more national attention. What does that mean to you?
It means a lot. I mean, I've kind of just been taking it one event at a time and not really thinking about stuff like that. But after my 3rd win in a row, I mean, it's hard not to think about that stuff. No, I mean, it means a lot. It's cool to see my ranking going up, and hopefully I'm in that spot where I can get a auto bid to regionals right now. So yeah, it's kind of how I feel about that.
That's really cool. One thing that I've meant to ask you before, I'm curious about. As you mentioned, you're from Woodland, Washington. It's along the Columbia River, north of Portland, and it's a border town. But you represented Oregon as a junior player in national team events. How did that work?
Yeah. So basically, the Oregon Golf Association, Southwest Washington is part of the Oregon Golf Association. Washington Junior Golf Association has a lot of stuff like up towards Seattle, so I was like about 2.5 hours away from me, and then most of the Oregon junior stuff is in Portland, which is just 45 minutes. So OGA kind of adopted like Southwest Washington, so I was just a part of the OGA whether I wanted to be. So yeah, but no, Oregon junior golf is awesome though. I mean, there's so many good golfers in our class in Oregon junior golf. I mean, that definitely helped my upcoming.
Well, obviously it worked out really well for them to have you, and it's working out really well for us in Utah for you to be playing at UVU.
Yeah.
Getting 3 wins in a row like this, what does it do to your confidence? Obviously, you're on your way to the next stop in your schedule. 3 wins in a row has to stoke up your confidence. What does it do to you when you're looking at the next tournament to know that, hey, I can win. I do win. How does that affect you going into a tournament like this?
I mean, I think a lot of golfers talk about the importance of getting the first win. It's hard to get your first win, and then after that, once you know how to win, I think it's definitely easier. And that was kind of the thing where, like, before I got my first one, I was like, oh yeah, I don't really know what people mean by that, but as soon as I did, it's like, okay, now you know you can get a win. And no, I think it's just, regardless of how I'm playing, if I'm like hitting it not amazing or if I'm not putting it great, I think I've proven to myself that I can get a win in multiple different ways. If something's not working or something is working, I think I've gotten a couple wins like in both of those scenarios. So just knowing that I can get a win on any given week, if I had the right stuff, that's a good feeling. So.
What do you attribute? How would you describe your most recent win at Casablanca?
I would describe it as harder than my previous 2 wins. And the reason I say that is because I felt like my 2 wins in the fall were kind of like stuff was going my way, in a sense. Like I felt like I was, getting a good bounce here or there, or, making some long putts. It kind of just felt like my week. And then this week in Mesquite, I honestly kind of just felt the opposite. Round 1, I played great. And then, round 2, I just felt like I was in a divot in every fairway. And then I felt like all my putts were hopping offline. I just felt like everything was going against me. And honestly, it felt the same in the final round. And I feel like mentally it would have been really easy to just give in and say, this isn't really my week. But I was really proud of myself. I just kind of stuck to the game plan and just told myself, just go do your best in every shot and see what happens. You can win. So, I feel like I really kind of climbed over a mental wall in that sense. I was proud of myself for that.
You should be, and what you describe is really important. Winning is a skill, and winning hard is a harder skill. Do you think that you could have done this past week if you didn't have your 2 previous wins?
That's a good question. Honestly, probably not. I think the experience of my previous 2 wins helped with this one, definitely. It's hard to say, but just mentally, it definitely helped. Yeah, just having that experience.
Well, it's really cool, really impressive what you've done, and boy howdy, we're cheering for you. When you're going down to Fresno, first of all, what a great tournament at the Nick Watney, and you're not going to be able to sneak up on anybody now. They're going to see you coming. So we are cheering for you. Good luck, man. Go knock them dead.
Well, I appreciate it, Paul. Thanks for having me on.
That is Dane Huddleston of the Utah Valley University Wolverines coming off his 3rd victory in a row. Haley, I'm really interested in your thoughts on something that he said there about winning hard, that his victories were different in each case, which is not surprising, but this one was harder for him to do. But he learned about himself that he could win when things were hard. You've done that. What are your thoughts when you hear that?
It's just the mental toughness that you have. That's one thing that really stood out to me. and also when he's talking, he's very humble, which is
Yeah, that's true.
it's very nice to hear.
Yeah.
And sometimes those two don't go well together. Is when you're humble. Sometimes your mental toughness kind of leaks a little bit with self-confidence. Not saying that you can be both, but it's refreshing to hear that he is extremely humble, but has that mental toughness that when things go wrong, that he can forget about it and move on. And the one that sticks out to me for myself of in college, my second win at the conference championship for Pac West. I had a 3-shot lead. I lost it in the first 3 holes, and then coming down the stretch, I was 1 shot down. I almost hit it in from the bunker, and the girl 3-putted, and we went into a playoff. And so it's just kind of when he's talking like that, that's the one thing that brought to my memory is like, you're coming down 1 down, but you have to know, you have to stay tough. It's not over till it's over. And it just sounds like he's really good at that and just can stay strong. And I hope that he can hold that going into this week, and he does well.
It'll be interesting to see for sure. Do you play better with a lead or coming from behind?
Yes.
Okay, tough question. You're
Yeah,
right.
yeah, I call
Yeah.
I call it the Seabiscuit factor
Okay.
because the Utah Jazz are like that. When back in the 90s and whatnot, we always called it the Seabiscuit because they have to lose. They have to be losing and have to come back. They couldn't just outright win a game. They had to be losing first. Then they would come back. It was almost a third quarter, fourth quarter comeback every time.
Yeah, and that's what that great horse Seabiscuit did
Yeah.
repeatedly.
Yeah, repeatedly.
Yeah, interesting stuff. All right, shoot. Jan, what's next?
Paul, you know what's next.
I do. It's the What's Next segment where we're going to tell you what's coming up next in Utah Golf. We'll do that after we come back from this break. You are listening to Utah Golf Radio, powered by T-Box on the Rocky Mountain Golf Network.
What's next? What's next? Tonight. I'm saying, what's next? What's next? What's next? What's next? And I'm saying, what's next? Sir, when I ask what's next, it means I'm ready to move on to other things. So, what's next?
Yeah, Utah Golf Radio. Putting a wrap on a good show and telling you what's next in Utah Golf. Jan, you got something coming up next with Girls Go Golfing crew.
Yes, we do. We are getting ready for our 4th annual season kickoff. We do it in Page, Arizona. You can go to Facebook and Girls Go Golfing and get all the event details under the event page. We still have a few spots available. It is 4 days of tournament golf. So four straight
rounds?
of tournament golf, different formats.
Okay.
And great prizes and a
So kind of Ryder Cup-ish.
Yeah,
or,
and
or
a lot of fun.
Solheim Cup-ish.
Yeah, a lot. So basically, a lot of fun. The whole goal is to have as much fun as possible, and we're adding a few things this year. So it's just getting bigger and better. So go to Facebook and go to the events page. Girls Go Golfing.
On the Girls Go Golfing
on the
page.
Girls Go Golfing page on Facebook, and go to the events.
Check it out.
And a few of us are actually heading to St. George today to play St. George Golf Club.
Nice.
So yeah, they haven't played there before, so it'll be fun to watch their experience.
Haley, you follow the Girls Go Golfing.
I do.
You do that stuff as well.
I do.
That's cool.
It is. I've actually been a little kind of off it. My Facebook got hacked, and so I haven't been on Facebook for a couple months.
Oh, okay.
'Cause I've
I
been
was
stubborn.
wondering.
Yes, it's not because I've been distant. It's because it got hacked, and I'm not ready to start over. I'm still trying to get back in, but I think
that's annoying.
it's doomed. But
It's too.
That's annoying.
Well, now you can do it in whatever. You can do it in your phone. Sometimes the iPhone you can put in a name and it will call you that. I don't know if you know this or not. So you can come up with whatever name you want now on your Facebook.
There we go.
Is Tiger Woods is taken?
Yeah, Tiger Woods is probably
Yeah.
taken.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Tigress Wood.
There we go.
The first Tee Ace Frenzy will be at Coral Canyon on Monday, the 17th of March. The
I'm
Ace
so
Frenzy.
excited for
This is
this.
going to be a gas.
This is just sounds so much fun. I mean, this is like TGL fun.
TGL fun at the first Tee Ace Frenzy. All 18 holes at Coral will be set up at par 3 distance. We have 18 hole-in-one opportunities, 18 really great prizes, and it'll just be an awful lot of fun. So go to firstteeutah.org to check out that. The UGA Championship registrations will open on the Tuesday, the 18th of March at
8
9
a.m.
9
No,
o'clock. 9 o'clock.
Is it 9 o'clock?
Yeah.
Okay, 9 o'clock.
Yeah. So
Don't miss it.
Do not miss it. The March 18th, and we will have.
I actually have a
podcast.
reminder in my phone to call Steve Maxwell on that day or the day before to remind him to register.
Okay, there you go.
I remember
Because he was
that.
on the
Yes,
show
I
and he
remember
said
that.
he was worried
needs
about
a
forgetting.
reminder.
That's so funny.
Got him.
And we will have podcasts for you later this weekend when we get champions at the Coral Canyon Senior Am and the Ledges Am. All right. We got to roll on out of here. Thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you for listening. Thank you, Haley Sturgeon, for joining us. We so appreciate you being with us.
Thank you.
This is Paul Pugmire saying, don't jab it like Jan.
Jan Brownstein reminding you to chug it, do not pug it.
That is good advice. Please replace your divots and fix your ball marks. You are listening to Utah Golf Radio, powered by T-Box on the Rocky Mountain Golf Network.